this has to be one of the most important videos I've ever uploaded on this channel so far, not just because it tells you about all the lies that you have been subjected to by the people who call themselves by the fancy name of MK Delta, but also because it saves you from all the loss of time and money that their fancy Shogun Method actually is. I have personally brought and studied it and compared it with other good reputed resources on dating and seduction available to the public and found out that it not only is extremely overpriced but also insignificant because the amount of value that books like Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction single-handedly provide you with at a price of like $10 to $15 is way greater than the kind of value you will receive from spending hundreds of dollars on the Shogun Method. Not to mention that I myself provide you with more practically followable seduction techniques and tactics on this channel for free that they provide in their entire course. So, I suggest you to watch till the very end because I will tell you but the 5 biggest lies that the Shogun Method scam is telling you to take your money away and give absolutely nothing in return. Reveal number 1. Derek Rake does not exist. This person, who is supposedly the creator of the Shogun Method, calls himself Derek Rake, but he neither shows his face in any of his courses nor tells us his real name because the word Rake is not his last name. It's the name of a seduction concept. In fact, this entire name is a made-up alias. Take a look at this, a picture from Robert Greene's book called The Art of Seduction. Right on page 17, as well as on the very first page of the content index, he lists the character of the Rake, who is not a human being but a term which was first used at the time of King Louis XIV and given to someone who resorts to unethical techniques to get the girl. Robert Greene further tells us about this kind of seducer, saying that this term is given to those men who manipulate and make women feel unappreciated to become the center of their thought process. So, if you are doing such a thing, then you too will be termed as a rake. Now this fact tells us that the name Derek Rake is definitely not a real name but a made-up alias since it is purposefully based off of the name of a prominent seduction concept. So, this Shogun Method was created by someone who never shows his face and neither tells you his real name, which means that if you lose your money down the line and decide to sue them, then the company can shun you down saying that nobody named Derek Rake exists. And that most probably is the case because nobody named Derek Rake actually exists in real life, since that is just a made-up fictional character made just for the purpose of story-based marketing by the original creators who are shady in nature and never reveal their true identities either. And if you talk about us, that oh you too sell a dating course and don't show your face, then first of all, our creator is named Dean Cortez, who is a real person. This is his photo, this is his Facebook profile, and this is his website. You can visit it yourself and see that we are not lying about the identity of our founder because we have no shady reason to do so. Our founder, Dean Cortez, is an actual, living, breathing person who is a professional dating coach and an author of many books whose name you can Google saying Dean Cortez books and you can research all you want about him since he is a real guy who has many businesses outside the dating industry as well. Moreover, we don't even hide the identity of our marketers like those Shogun Method scammers. This brings us to reveal number 2. Fredo Hill is a voice actor. You might have visited his channel, in fact that might be where you got to know about the Shogun Method since it's an old channel with way more subs than me at this moment. Well, let me tell you something. This Fredo guy has never revealed his identity either and he is most likely a voice actor from Fiverr because if you take a look at some of his old videos and compare them with his newer ones, then you will find out that his voice is totally different but the description still reads Fredo Hill as the creator. So that means people marketing the Shogun Method use voice actors but label them as the fictional character of Fredo Hill just for marketing their YouTube channel under an alias name, so that if anyone sues them for false marketing in future, they have a safety net because then they can say that nobody named Fredo Hill exists and we have nothing to do with him whatsoever. And again, if you talk about me saying that I don't show my face either, well, I'm new to YouTube, I'm camera shy and I plan on doing a face reveal at 10k. But if you want to see my beautiful face before that, then just email me at max.thedatingarc@gmail and I will show it to you. Keep in mind that I will share my selfies clicked by my own phone, so please don't expect photoshoot quality images. Also, let me tell you that max.thedatingarc@gmail is my second email ID, created just for the purpose of managing viewer mails. If you want my original email ID or even my contact number, then you can just email me at max.thedatingarc@gmail and I will send it to you. So you can see there is no comparison between us and those scammers at the Shogun since we have nothing to hide and no alias to give. And we have a shit ton of unstolen value because reveal number 3 is that a major part of the Shogun Method is stolen content from Jordan Belfort and Robert Greene. Jordan Belfort is a well-known sales coach who is also known by the name of the Wolf of Wall Street. He is a best-selling author and an entire Martin Scorsese movie is made on his life and books, starring Leo DiCaprio in his role. So you know he is a big deal, and his books and sales courses named Straight Line Persuasion courses are absolutely top-notch as well. And Robert Greene is a well-known American author who has written many bestsellers like The 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction, The 33 Strategies of War, and many more amazing works. And guess what? Our friends at the Shogun Method steal content from both of them because right in the first few modules of the Shogun Method, they mention a concept named the continuum of desirability, which is just a knockoff version of Jordan Belfort's concept of the continuum of certainty mentioned in his book, The Way of the Wolf, and also his paid courses. The concept of the continuum of certainty, as Mr. Belfort explains, is that you can judge the level of certainty that the customer has for you and your product by listening to his words and looking at his body language and then rating it at a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being absolute uncertainty where the prospect is like, this guy is full of shit, I want to punch him in the face for showing me this piece of shit product. And level 10 being absolute certainty where the customer thinks that you and your product is the best thing since sliced bread. And now, our guys at the Shogun listed entire modules explaining this continuum of certainty, calling it continuum of desirability, and they copied the same exact words of Jordan Belfort line by line, with just changing the term certainty to desirability and prospect with women. And I agree that this concept makes sense, but it belongs to Jordan Belfort. He was the one who did the hard work of creating this concept, and they openly steal it without even giving him a single bit of credit. They steal both his work and his credit, which I think is criminal because it's just like stealing someone's car and putting your number plate on it. Furthermore, they steal the content of Robert Greene, like the name of Derek Rake himself, which is just a made-up alias taken from his book, The Art of Seduction. The entire Shogun Method has many more things which are stolen from other influential creators without even giving them any credit. And they provide you with no value, which is reveal number 4. Shogun Method is impractical fairy dust. Look, if you are paying money, then you need practically followable stuff that you can actually use on women right out of the bat without even creeping them out. Like my videos on how to slide into a girl's DM and how to approach women who are stranger to you. Those videos teach you something which can be used right away after watching the videos. And if you are not even getting that from an overexpensive course that I teach for free, then you seriously need to rethink your investment and ask yourself that, are you even thinking straight? They don't even teach you anything about approaching new women in the first place or about increasing rapport with women whom you are already familiar with. Only thing they keep doing in their entire modules is to go like woman this, woman that, female psychology this, female psychology that, and that's it. Just a blabber about theoretical psychology, and look, I understand the psychology, I understand the theory, and I know that women have a few screws loose, but what's next? What about the practical applications of those so-called secrets? What about using them in real life? What about teaching something that you can actually use right away on real women after watching the video? What about tactics and the actual tools of the trade which are required for breaking the ice, making strong impressions, and actually tricking the girl into following your lead? Well, sorry to say guys, but all that is missing from the Shogun Method, and only thing they give you instead of that are just a few small PDF files with very few 2-liner wooden dialogues which sound totally cheesy and are practically unusable in real life. And trust me, at the end, you will still be left with nothing but confusion, wondering what should I even do next. And if you want to be confused, then why bother spending your hard-earned money? You see, I spent my 2 entire weeks studying this course, and this was the reason why I had to chop off the video on what all women want into 2 parts so that they become easier to record and edit, and I get enough time to analyze this thing. Turns out, I didn't waste my time and money after all, since even if one person tricked by the false marketing of Shogun decides to open his eyes and buy something better or just uses money on better things like providing for his family, then I would consider my investments to be fruitful. And so far, I think I deserve a follow since I spent too much time and money on the Shogun Method just so that I can make an actual review for you and tell you that you can learn more for free or for a few bucks than spending such a huge sum of money for Shogun Method. And the reveal number 5 is that they teach only one technique and give it way more hype without even teaching it properly. The concept of fractionation is just a fancy name given to the basic concept of emotional fluctuation, and it simply means that you have to charm a woman to a point where she feels so good and positive in your presence that the mere thought of losing you scares her. and then you just have to enslave her by making her your hostage and threatening her with negativity. The most difficult part in this approach is the positives. If you're not making the girl feel positive enough to strike that emotional attraction, then no matter what you do to make her feel negative, it will make no difference because she is just not attached to you. And this again is nothing new. It's been around for ages and it's mentioned in a ton of other books on seduction and persuasion. Even I teach you a lot about emotional and psychological fluctuations in my own videos for free. You can take the video on how to get a girl to break up, for example. I describe the concept of love bombing, which you can use for achieving your goals of making a girl break up with her guy. And the fact is that these guys at the Shogun are so heavy on the negatives, which are the easiest, that they don't tell you anything about the positives, which are the most difficult part to pull off. This means that they hardly know what they're talking about and just say their stuff in a fancy way to make it look salesy and appealing. Fact still remains, they provide you with no real value, and what they teach can be learned at a far cheaper price and even for free on my own channel alone. So the conclusion is that the Shogun Method is created by shady people who lie about their identities, steal content from people like Jordan Belfort, and give you impractical advice while not telling you anything about the single technique they claim to know everything about in their over-expensive course. They sell based on the fact of teaching something which is just a fancy name given to a simple concept that can be learned for free, and they don't even teach anything about the actual real-world advanced techniques like love bombing, gaslighting, ghosting, trauma exploring, isopraxism, and many more that we teach for free on this channel, as well as in detail in our tactical attraction line of courses. So here you have it. Everything about the Shogun Method revealed to you, no stone left unturned, and the exact truth presented to you as it is. Now you can make intelligent decision on where to invest your money, since now you know both the sides of the coin. And if you truly want to learn and study the psychology of seduction, then giving Robert Greene's book, The Art of Seduction, a read is highly recommended, and so is subscribing to my channel for valuable free seduction training. So with all that said, I want you to go ahead and click on the like and subscribe buttons right now and head over to the first link in the description below, because that link will take you to a detailed video lecture about tactical attraction, which will teach you the actual things you need to learn for being a good seducer and a charmer. We don't just stop at the basics of teaching emotional fluctuation, we dive a level deeper, explaining grey hat techniques like love bombing, isopraxism, influential commanding, trauma exploring, switch flipping, and many more that my friend Brandon will reveal to you in that lecture. So please don't wait and click on the first link in the description right now and learn the actual way of seduction that nobody else on YouTube is teaching you.